Willie's Garage, brought to you by the Winnipeg Free Press. It's a Winnipeg thing.
So have you guys heard of this girl named Keelan? Apparently she used to race go-karts, but now she's moving up to full-size stock cars.
Like what class do you know?
Think modified B.
Ooh, those are fast.
I wonder if she'd be willing to go up against Big Willie.
I think the big question is, am I willing to go up against her? I mean, I can't imagine anything more horrifying than being schooled on a racetrack by a 16-year-old girl.
Red River Co-op Speedway, here we come.
93 started because I'm born in 1993, and my grandpa helped us a lot, he still does, and he's born in 1939. So when you switch 1993, 1939, it's both me and him in one. I'm Keelan Cron, I race B-Mod. It's my first year racing, and I don't really do much besides that.
I have a plan to do the best that I can.
I was never the type to play with dolls. You feel the power and you know it's there. It's to get past people, it's to get faster, it's to get better. It's the excitement of being able to be better than you were at the beginning. When you're getting ready to go, it's like, okay, this is a bit nerve-wracking, but when you're sitting there, it's like you're excited, you're ready, you want to go and race. And then when you're actually driving and you're seeing people go past you and you're like, no, I want to go faster, I want to keep up to them, you push yourself a lot harder when you're in the seat. It feels so great once you finally realize what you're doing.
When we first started go-kart racing, she was competitive, and of course we didn't know anything about go-kart racing at that point. We didn't know anything about racing other than my feeble experiences. So I just said, well, let's give it a try. We went racing and she was good, but she wasn't great. Out of 24 kids in the first year, she finished 13th. They were all boys. And then the second year, we bought her a 2006 Nemesis chassis, which is a factory-made chassis. So she had 22 kids in her class that year. Out of the 22 kids, she finished in 5th. We went in our third year and we said, okay, top 3, that's our goal. And she's already talking about big cars, and I'm going, no. Once you get a track championship, that's when we're talking big cars. So, of course, she's got her own agenda and she starts racing harder, and the worst we finished was 5th. And when we finished 5th, we dropped to 5th in points. It was that tight. It was only in the second last race we took the points lead back. Then the same guy that introduced us to go-kart racing, he says, now you got the go-kart thing figured out, you got to buy a mod. And he's got 3 of these cars at home. So he goes, got one for you, I'm bringing it over on Monday. I go, no, we don't need a car. And she's going, come on, Dad. So then Monday came, and so did the car, I guess, and here we are.
When I first started go-karts, I figured I'm not moving up from this because I'm not good enough. Last year of go-karts, I knew for sure I wanted to move up. I wanted to go higher, go faster, and do better. But I couldn't do that with go-karts because I was already at my limit. So I knew it was coming, I just didn't know it was gonna come this quick. Normally I start at the back at a new track because I'm not really comfortable with just diving in. So I see lots of people spin out in front of me. It's like, oh, go this way. And then they start going that way and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna hit them. So then that kind of freaks me out, but at the same time, it's like, I know how to avoid a crash. It's just still scary that it's happening in front of me and I might not avoid it. I'm learning a lot more about how when to get on the gas and when is the best time to get on the gas to deliver your corner the way you're supposed to. And the faster I go around the corner, the funner it is.
The history of dirt track racing can lead to intense arguments among racing enthusiasts from both America and Britain. Even though both countries played significant roles in the development of the sport, only Australia can lay claim to its birth. Originally started in the 1920s as a sideshow attraction for agricultural fairs, oval dirt track racing was a popular event down under. However, it was mostly for two-wheeled racers. It wasn't until Australia's Johnny Hoskins, who took the sport over to England in the mid-1920s, that someone thought to try it with cars. English towns were excited to give the concept a try, and Camberley held the first race. Without access to Australia's dirt-style tracks, they used sand-based tracks, which led to slower times and even stuck cars. Not quite a feast for race fans. High Beach and Epping Forest held the first notable race on February 19, 1928, with a record audience of more than 30,000 spectators. This High Beach racetrack is considered the birthplace of modern British racing. Modern oval dirt track racing may have come from Australia and Britain, but it has truly been perfected in the United States. In the Northeast and Western states, open-wheel stock car racing dominated, while in the South it was all about the stock car. With over 1,500 dirt tracks still in use across the country, a lot of small towns find their heart and soul tied to the Saturday night and Sunday afternoon races. It is where the community comes to cheer, laugh, argue, and witness the excitement of dirt track racing. While the speed and technology of the vehicles has changed, the will and desire to win never does. Gas and oil, one lap at a time, right through to the checkered flag.
This car right here is on a dyno, 389 horsepower and making 379 foot-pounds of torque. It's not the cheapest hobby out there. Just to stay racing, you gotta buy tires every couple weeks. You gotta buy it, change your motor oil all the time. Every track has a different gear set, so you're changing your rear end differential gears all the time. You're probably looking at $15,000 to $20,000 a year, like for the summer season. It used to be just a car with pipes and giver, and now it's science.
So Willie, remember I was telling you about those cars the other day and we were talking about them? We looked into them. Not only are they super wicked, super fast, but we found one that you would actually fit in.
No modifications required.
Yeah.
See that? I've been to the track before. There's some heavy-duty guys doing the circles
Absolutely,
there.
yep.
So what's the deal? What'd you guys find?
So we actually found a guy who's gonna let you use his car.
Nice. So what's gonna happen like when this 16-year-old girl actually beats me?
You may come in second place, but we've got something to make you look good doing it.
Since you've been losing your whole life, we found you a small gift.
It's not that little. Here you go, buddy.
Oh, nice. A race suit. It is big, too.
It's even fireproof.
Hello.
Just don't light yourself on fire.
Oh, I love it.
Your first ever.
Wait a minute. Is this thing used?
First of all, I think you have to have a desire to race. Second of all, I think if you have that desire to race, you got the desire to win. We came from go-karts. She's used to winning. Now we're learning a whole new game, and it's like she doesn't understand what a push is necessarily, and she doesn't understand drifting a car because she's not even old enough to drive on the street yet. When she first got in this car, it was like monstrous to her. She couldn't figure out why she couldn't see the front bumper. That's, I think, the biggest thing is transition. Right now, our desire isn't to win. Our desire is to finish races and get seat time. After we get that all figured out, then the desire to win comes back into the equation. So,
What was it like for you the very, very first time that you climbed into this car?
First time I climbed into the car, it was like, it wasn't my car then, so it was like, yeah, this is fine, I can do this. When it was my car and I was getting ready to race, it's like, I can't do this. Like, I'm going out and racing against people I don't know, and I'm gonna hurt them because I don't know what I'm doing.
So you did have some moments of doubt then?
Oh, yeah. In go-karts, I think what I understood better, or why I understood better, is because there's a lot less than what there is in a full-size car. There's gears, there's all the same motor problems and all that, except it's smaller, it's more easy to figure out. I get gears in this because it's almost the same thing, but there's a whole bunch of new different suspensions and J-bars and tire pressures and a whole bunch of different things that I'm working on getting them. I'm getting there slowly. It's just gonna take a while.
we thought the transition would be the easiest to go to from a go-kart because it's more, go-karts are all about momentum. You don't want to scrub off any speed. You go around a corner too fast, the cart slides out sideways, you're off your game, you're not going to win that race. Imagine if you're going along a highway and you got to take a cloverleaf and get over a bridge and going the other direction. If you're going around that cloverleaf too fast and you're about to fall over the edge, you got to hit your brakes because you're going to fall over the edge. While with this car, the way it's designed is if you're going around that cloverleaf and you hit your brakes, it's going to shoot you over the edge. If you mash on the gas harder, it's going to turn you. So it's not the easiest transition, but it's not the hardest.
Lots of the time, communication with my dad is very difficult.
When she comes off, I'll say, okay, so how did it feel? Well, one of the answers I got just this weekend was, I don't know, but it's not good. Where do you not like it? When you're coming off a corner, when you're going into a corner?
Because I know what's wrong with it in my mind, but his mind's so much more complex.
Between her English and my English, we come to an agreement and we go, okay, well, if this is what it's doing, why don't we try this?
In go-karts, we both understood what we're talking about. In racing now, he understands it and I understand very little of it.
She's very, very, very skeptical on trying more than one thing. I gotta be picky on what I try because sometimes I want to change 5 things because I think, well, if we do this, 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 and this, it'll be that much better.
We're not too focused on winning, so we're just trying to get out there, do some laps, figure it out, and we're getting better at it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Willie's garage. Yeah, this is him. Really? Bummer. Well, what am I supposed to drive now?
The 2007 J-Car B-Class Modified. Engine size, 307 Chevy. Generates 389 horsepower. Torque, 379 foot-pounds. Transmission, automatic power glide. The 2007 J-Car B-Class Modified.
All right, I'm here at Red River Co-op Speedway. It's been raining on and off all day. The track looks a little greasy out there, but I'm looking forward to it. Apparently they've lined up a stock car for me to race against Keelan Cron, and I'm excited about it, so let's get at it. One of the hazards of racing stock cars is the never-ending mechanical problems. Sure, my crew had lined up a car for me, but they failed to tell the owner not to drive it before I got my chance. He hit the wall at 75 kilometers per hour, and now I'm in the market for a new loaner.
Get ready for a race. I always eat something. I might not eat a lot because my stomach's like going, but I have to eat. And then I just distract myself completely because if I think about it, I get overworked, I overthink it, and I just get way too nervous. So I just distract myself. I work on the car, I get stuff ready. I just have to keep busy, otherwise I'm just too nervous.
Go-karts run tight, so she likes a tight car. When I say tight car, I mean when you're going into a corner, if you can imagine, if the car kicks out sideways and you're completely drifting sideways around a corner and it feels completely out of control, and it is basically out of control, but you're still supposed to mash the gas and just graze the concrete wall under the flagman to stay on the track, that's a loose car. She likes a tight car where you step on the gas, and the way this car is designed, if it's tight enough and she's on the gas enough, the left rear wheel will climb underneath her. The right rear wheel will kind of move backwards, but the left front wheel will pick off the ground. So the left front wheel will travel 6 inches off the ground, but that's a really, really tight car. Now to drive a really tight car, you have to drive really aggressively, so you got to use lots of throttle. So she likes a tight car, but she doesn't like using lots of throttle. So then we get into the whole spat about, listen, it's the pedal on the right.
The more I think about actually driving it, the worse I'll do because I overthink it. I'm still working on getting on the gas more. It's coming, but it's slow. You feel the difference when you're on the gas and you can actually make it through the corner and you feel it's great about yourself, and then you know you can keep doing that, and you learn from that one corner that that's what you have to do.
It's a lot to figure out, especially for a kid that isn't driving every day, so that's where I guess we have our spats, if you call them that.
Favorite part of the race is going through the corner, because if I figure it out, I feel so much better about how I'm racing. I figured out how to go through that corner and make myself better. Once you do that, you start catching up to traffic, and then you just feel so much better about the way you raced if you figure out that corner.
So how much preparation is involved in racing? Like, do you spend a fair bit of time in the garage turning wrenches, or?
I'll be honest, if you have a bad weekend or a good weekend, it normally takes a day to get everything ready again to how it was.
So it's like a day of maintenance for a day of racing then? It's kind of like or not even, I guess, a whole day of racing, a day of maintenance for like 20 laps of racing or something like that, right? So the go-karts that you raced then, it wasn't on an asphalt track, it was on a dirt track like you race now?
Yeah.
Very similar driving style, right?
Not really, no.
No, it's quite a bit different?
You have to stay right down and you have to stay tight. You can't go anywhere else on the track.
Whereas in this car, you can get up on the bank and...
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've heard too that with a car with this much horsepower, you do a lot of your steering actually with the rear tires, right?
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, you just got to be on the gas when you're coming out of a corner, or?
Gas and brakes. That's the most confusing thing for me, because...
So you're pedaling with both feet, like you're using your left foot to do the brake and your right foot to do the gas?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what are the reactions, say, first from your girlfriends and then from your guy friends? What are the reactions from them?
My girlfriends think I'm insane because they don't think I should be doing it, but they still support it. My guy friends, if I race here, they'll be here no matter what because they just have to see it.
So where are some of the places that this racing can take you, like within Manitoba and then out into the United States? Where do you go?
Morden actually just opened up a track. They race Sundays. We race here, but they don't have my class, so I race against A mods.
And those are faster cars then, or?
Yeah.
So you're at a bit of a disadvantage with those cars then? But you still get the laps, I guess, right?
So it's still racing.
Yeah.
But in the States, there's many tracks. Like, you could travel all weekend and race.
So what's the difference that you've noticed from the tracks here as opposed to in the United States?
In the States, they're more like, they don't care if you're not good. They know where you started. They're not going to just hit you. Here, it's more competitive because this is the only track we have to race here. So it's like, this is where I have to win. So everybody's here.
So it's every sort of man and woman for himself here, whereas down there they might be a little more forgiving then?
Yeah.
So do you think that'll serve you better when you get down there though? Because here, you know, the guys are cutthroat and you got to race hard?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it probably would too. I don't know if you heard this, but there was possibility of me driving another modified car that apparently got completely destroyed like a couple of days ago, right? So now I'm going to drive this. This is the Free Press Ford Escort, all right? I had one previous race in this car and it died just as the white flag was coming out for me, and I was in the lead at the time, right? So this is my opportunity to sort of redeem myself in this car. So when we race, there's really no way that I can win this. I mean, in addition to you having like 4 times at least the horsepower that I have, even if I do actually beat you, well, then I'm going to look like a total jerk for beating a 16-year-old girl. And if you beat me, then I look like a total loser for getting beat by a 16-year-old girl. So I'm going to cheat while we race. Is that okay?
Okay.
Now, we're going to start at the same time, and we're going to race around this track, right? When you are coming up behind me to lap me, just be careful that you don't hit me, all right?
Okay.
All right, let's go have some fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to watching your car because I'm pretty sure it's going to be from the back doing this all over the track. So let's go have some fun. It'll be cool.
Good luck. When I'm driving, mostly all I see is the track. There can be a car there, but I can't focus on that. I focus on the corner, where it's coming, how fast I have to turn. My gauges, they could be telling me something, but I won't even know. And one time I looked at my one gauge and I didn't even understand it because I was too focused on going through that corner. So when I drive, all I see is the track, how I'm gonna take it, and if there's somebody in front of me, how far I am from them.
So Keelan, we just got off the track, and do you have anything to say about my goggles here?
That's what happens when you're behind.
Oh, and I was behind for that whole race. You know what though, I think in the end I kind of sort of caught up to you there and almost made a man of myself. What do you think?
When I slowed off to come off the track?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it happened. I think you're just gonna have a brilliant racing career. I mean, I've been driving for like 25 years, and you've totally just proved to me that I do not know how to drive at all. So congrats to you, and I'm sure you're gonna have a brilliant career, and I'm gonna really look forward to watching how you excel in it, all right?
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
It's one big family. They're supportive no matter what, and they can like somebody else out there, and that can be their favorite racer, but when you're driving, that's all their focus is on. And when you know that you have a family behind you that just supports you 100%, you can't feel any better about it. You know they're there for you no matter what, and you're not gonna lose that.
We're not done by any means, but how far we go, I guess it all depends on lots of different, there's lots of pieces to that puzzle. Say she was going to university in Grand Forks. Well, even if she had to live there and we lived here, we could still bring the car there every Friday and race and pick her up and then go racing Saturday, Sunday and come home. You know what I mean? It's like you're looking into this great big tunnel and do you see a light? I'm not sure. Our plan is to go as far as we can.
Accomplishments are definitely something that gets you more motivated to do better, because one week it can be like, I didn't win, but I accomplished something I wanted to. And that motivates you to do better next week, and then you keep going up on the accomplishments, and eventually, at some point, you're gonna reach where you win a heat, a feature, anything, and all of the accomplishment list is gonna bring you up, and then you're just gonna feel great about yourself, even though you might not have won, but you might have done a corner perfectly. You might have passed somebody. You have to set goals for yourself, but you don't always go through with them. But you try, so that helps a lot.